Hey there to all listeners, lovers, and fans of Player Chatter. We are back again for another episode. I believe this is number 20 in the books, Big 2-0. And at the time of recording, I believe the playoffs are coming to an end. Well, the first round at least are coming to an end. The only two teams left battling it out are the Cavaliers and the Magic. This is following last night's game where Orlando pushed it to 7. That's the time of the recording right now. By the time it reaches you guys' ears, we may be into the second round already, give or take. But that's exactly what we're here to talk about, the big steppers of the first round. We're going to talk about what's next for Milwaukee following the whole Dame and Giannis being out, wrapping up their first year together, the whole Pat Bev, Hallie situation. We should have time to talk about some round 2 matchups and maybe a little bit on the WNBA season now that started and college basketball is out of the way. Hopefully, we can get Scored back in here for this episode 20 where we're trying to work that out. So for now, I will try to hold off on the biggest, juiciest parts of the segments so we can discuss those together. For now, we can start with the big steppers of the NBA season. No, that's the NBA season, of the first round of the playoffs. For me, I think the most favorite series that I watched was probably that Knicks and Philly series. One, because despite the seeding differences, we all knew that Philly dropped a bit because of Embiid's injury. And now that he came back, it was more like, oh, snap, they could do something with it. Fortunately, that for them at least, that wasn't the case. Brunson and the Knicks, the Villanova boys, sent them home. Biggest stepper in this series, outside of their star, I'm giving it to Josh Hart. Even with Hartenstein and Mitchell, which is a nasty center duo to be coming off of each other, Josh Hart has provided a lot. In the rebounding category, he's provided a lot. In the hustle category, he's been hitting some shots. He's been playing defense. He's been vocal. He's been passionate. You can see it in his eyes that he's trying to impact a winning team of basketball, and it's been looking really good for them. And despite all this happening without Randall, it makes it even crazier for the Knicks. So I'm really proud of the Knicks. The Cavs, however, not so much. They're still fighting against Orlando right now, which honestly I just need to give more credit to Orlando. I didn't think Paulo was as big as he is right now. I knew Friends was nice. I knew Paulo was nice. I knew they had a good squad, but I did not expect them to take this to 7. I thought they'd be out in 5, 6 tops. Considering, like I said, the Cavs already had their introductory year last year, so I'm thinking that they were going to give that to Orlando, so Orlando can come back hungrier next year. But Orlando is hungry right now, and the Cavs, despite Jared Allen being out there, it really seemed like they doing what they got to do. I mean, Donovan Mitchell had 50, but he lost. It's not enough. He got 50 next game and lose again, he'll be sent home, and Orlando will be moving forward. So shout out to Paulo for carrying that charge, especially in his sophomore season. And screw you, NBA media, for not giving more coverage on it. You guys are still following people that's already been knocked out, but we're not celebrating the people that are winning, which is insane, but it's always been like that. Next big stepper, we're going to the OKC Pelicans series. That's the one I didn't watch much of, one that I did hear about. So my biggest stepper off of what I do know is Lou Dort. And what were they saying about that? One, he locked up B.I., Brandon Ingram. And yes, I know Zion is out, and when one of your best players is out, obviously more attention is going to be focused onto him. But 14 a game, being held to 14 a game in that playoff series, that's a huge impact. Because I remember when Iggy won the Finals MVP for quote-unquote holding LeBron, and he was having like a 30, 40 point triple-double in that series or something like that, something close to that. And they counted that as holding him or containing him. Lou Dort did more than contain Brandon Ingram. You held to 14, you got locked. He got put in hell. What did they call it? The torture chamber. That man got put into the torture chamber. Never heard something like that. They made a whole nickname off of the defense that was being played against them. Like that's end all. So OKC swept that series, which should have been expected. Did I say that right? Which should have been. Who cares? We all should have seen that coming after Zion went down. So that's a pretty easy one. Who should we go to next? But honestly, I don't have a big stepper for every series. Like the Mavs, I don't have one for. I couldn't really find one player that was like, okay, yeah, this is the guy that stepped up. But by big stepper, I don't necessarily only mean players that, stepped up from the regular season to the playoffs. I'm talking about players that also just surprised me in general, or players that just had, to me, I feel like a big impact or the biggest impact to that series alone. Okay, I'll touch up on this one. Next two I'll do is Nuggets Lakers, and then I'll go to the Pacers Bucks. So starting with the Lakers. Oh man, what a season for them! It's been up and down, it's been back and forth, it's been good and bad, and it's been a whole bunch of nothing all at the same time. So well, they guess what? They did take one game when they should have taken at least two, honestly. And who knows how the series could have gone had they won that 20 point, that one where they blew that 20 point game. I don't know if that was what game two or three. Who would have known how the series would have won had they taken the game that they were supposed to win? Moving on from that, ED had a great year. Still wasn't enough to do anything with Jokic. Jamal Murray turned on the Jets. It's playoff time. But my big stepper for the Nuggets side of it, MPJ. Why do I say that? It's because obviously we got Jokic there. Um, it's been said by a lot of the head coaches and players around the league that there's no answer to him right now, but it'll come. Just like Kawhi gave us the answer to Giannis, someone's gonna give us the answer to Jokic. But MPJ though, being that third guy there, we already knew that focus is going to be on Jamal and Jokic because they do a lot of the back and forth, give and goes. They typically the two guys that bring the ball up the court or initiate the offense. But MPJ, I think he put up 18 this series. It's nothing electrifying, but if you're just looking at numbers, it's the way he got it. He was super efficient. He hit tough shots. I saw him play out of the mid range a lot, which really just shakes up any type of defense in today's league. Shooting out of the mid range, you don't really know if he's there to draw attention or if he's actually trying to bust your ass. So he was out there busting their ass, and obviously the Lakers couldn't do nothing about it, losing in five. D'Lo, personally, I like him. I don't think he should be getting any of the slander or hate that he's getting. Yeah, he had a rough game, but he also had some good ones. Lakers fans, you guys are the worst. Quite honestly, you guys love to point fingers. Honestly, when it comes down to NBA fans in general, I personally say this a lot that, it's just a watered down fan base. It's a bunch of, I see this online, so this is what I'm going to run with, or they just don't think for themselves. I don't know. NBA fans don't think for themselves. And Lakers fans are the epitome of that. Every season, in and out, you got to blame somebody. Like, you guys don't win a championship, and you act like it's the end of the world. Like everything has to blow up because you didn't win a ring that year. And then you guys spot out, oh yeah, we had 17 rings. 80% of you guys that are Lakers fans weren't even around for those rings in the first place, back when it was like 12 something, 13 teams. So like you guys can, I don't get it. People can sit there and discredit Bill Russell, and then the Lakers fans be like, yeah, we got 17 rings. Like you won those in the same time frame. Or a lot of them at least. I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta let things go, or just be knowledgeable about what you're talking about. Just not just spewing out nonsense just because it feels good. Plus, I don't know anyone becoming a fan of a team just because of the rings that they used to get. Like I don't know. I don't. That's just me. You guys love LeBron. You guys hate LeBron, but you don't want to respect him for the things he's done there. Could his time be up there? Sure, you could say that, but you can't act like his stay there was a flop. That man revitalized your franchise when Kobe was on his way out. If anything, you should say thank you, give the man his flowers. But yeah, better luck next season to you guys. You guys can't stop the Nuggets. It is what it is. It's just like how the Pacers or the Raptors couldn't stop the Cavs. It is what it is. I don't know if that's a full circle. I don't necessarily have a big stepper in that Timberwolves Suns series, which it was nice to watch. That is the one actually I watched the most. It wasn't the most exciting out of the ones I've seen, but it is the one where I've watched the most gameplay. And Ant-Man was torching them. Phoenix, everyone already knows what's wrong with your team, so no need for me to dive into that. You need a point guard. You need some length. You need some more prominent finishing. You guys just need a team. Similar to how Milwaukee is, and we're going to talk about that. Similar to how Milwaukee is, simply it's your first year together. Usually around year 2 or 3 when teams get like this, that's when they start building out the depth. But then again, it comes down to injuries. It's going to be another repeat of Brooklyn. They first got there, it wasn't really a team. They started getting some pieces around them, and the team was nice, but the team couldn't stay healthy. So no matter how many of those extra pieces you get, you still need all stars to be there. That's what it comes down to when you build these quote unquote super teams, which I don't think Phoenix is a super team. But when you build these super teams, your availability is the biggest asset that you can have on that type of team. You have to be present. You can't afford to have a star sitting out. Think about it like Milwaukee. Like before Dame went out, it was just Giannis out and Dame was still there. They could have still functioned. It might not have been the best chances of what they were going for, but they could have still functioned because they still got players like Brook. They still got Pat Bev out there. Shout out Pat Bev. He did amazing this season. Middleton, same thing. He did amazing this season. And then they got superstar Dame on top of that. We see what Dame can do by himself in the West. So Giannis being out was a big part of that. Dame going out as well. Another big part of that. They switched head coaches halfway through the season. I'm sure there's still silly repercussions of that. They made roster changes through the season. I'm not mad that they lost in 5. But for the Pacers, I can't really judge how they're gonna be in the next round. My big stepper for that team is between Miles Turner and TJ McConnell. Miles Turner because it's the first time I've seen him in action. I can't say whether or not he's made the playoffs before while he's been in Indiana. Probably has. I just wasn't there around to watch it. He had an amazing first round. Him and Siakam together, I like the playoffs off that. But TJ McConnell is definitely that glue guy to me at least that helped their offense out or helped pick up the slack when Hallie wasn't necessarily at his best. Moving forward into that second round, I will say a little piece on this that Hallie's gonna have to do a lot better next round against who are they up against again? Oh, the Knicks, silly me. Yeah, he's gonna have to do much better against that Knicks team if they want to make it out. Um, I kind of like that matchup slick. The structure of the two teams, Pacers kind of like running gun, and the Knicks they can really do anything they want to. And Brunson can give you 40, and or he can give you 15%. Like, and I'm not saying Allie can't, but I feel the Knicks are the more grittier team from from our eye test. The Knicks are a more grittier team. I just really want to see how that one plays out. That's actually an interesting one. I wonder how you guys are liking the playoffs so far. Who are your key players or big steppers for each series? This is my first time doing something like that, calling out like what like key players or biggest players in a game in general, or let alone a playoff series. And I hope you guys share some of those same thoughts that I do. If you do or don't, you can reach out and let us know. And by the way, before I forget, my big stepper for the Bucks half of it is not Pat Bev, Dave, or Middleton. It was actually Bobby Portis, the filling guy for Giannis's injury. I liked what he did in the series. He got a hell of rebounds, even though some of them were off of his own misses, but he played with heart. He had good shots for him, and not obviously, honestly, he's been a good 6-man piece for them the entire year. Similar to how I feel like Grayson Allen should have been in Phoenix. But due to injuries and the lack of depth on that team, he had to play a bigger role than what I feel like he should have been. But that's neither here nor there. And I was forgetting about Brunson. I forgot one point to make. Shout out to him for becoming the seventh player in history with at least three, because we don't know if he's going to do it again, with at least three consecutive 40-point performances in the playoffs. Last person to do that was Jamal Murray, which, oh, looking at it now, because I only got to see like the second half of that game. He did that with 11 assists. Again, 40 and 11, making history, and this is what the Pacers are coming in against. So good luck to both sides. If I had to make a prediction right here on the spot and lock it in, I'd say the Knicks are winning that series in 6. And they're sending the Pacers home because the Pacers, they shouldn't be there. Um, I don't see them doing something like Atlanta did, where they made it to the conference finals and they kind of capped out. I don't see them making it that far. Injuries are a big part of the game. I'm not using Giannis's injury as an excuse because things happen. But if we're gonna speak bluntly here, yeah, they made it through because Giannis was out. I don't see them making it much further than this. I'm not saying they can't win this series. I'm just saying the chances are slim, to me at least. I guess now I can look ahead at round 2. And the biggest questions I have for myself, since we already kind of talked about Knicks and Pacers just a few moments ago, as the Mavs move on to face OKC after they just came off that sweep from the Pelicans, there's a lot of questions there. So now we know that the Thunder have had some time to rest. I mean, so is not the Pelicans. So will the Mavs. They'll have like a couple days. But we know OKC is the more rested team. We know they're the higher seeded team. I'm sure they're the better defensive team. I'd have to fact check myself on that. And it's the matchups between Shea and Luka, battle of the PGs. How do I think that will turn out? I feel like I'd be stupid not to take OKC, but for some reason, my instinct is telling me go for the Mavs. And how many games, I don't know, but in the end of this series, my instinct is telling me that the Mavs will come out on top. Maybe I just have a thing against against newer teams making big, deep runs in their first go. Maybe that's why I felt like the Magic were going to lose, and maybe that's why I feel like OKC is going to lose because this is their first big runner, big push. I feel like teams never really do it on their first try. Once they get that losing experience, I'm like, okay, we know what to do next year. And again, it just adds that pit in their stomach that's empty that they gotta fill, and they won't fill until they get back to that place, redeem themselves, and then move forward. But you can't redeem yourself if there's nothing to redeem. That's the point that I'm getting at. I think the Mavs will take that one. It'll be interesting to see how they counter each other there, like how OKC will handle Kyrie, or Mavs big men are kind of unique because as the show is ran through Luka and Kyrie when it comes to creating, they still get their looks. So it's not like AD where you can give him the ball or Jokic or like someone like DeMarcus Cousins or Giannis, somebody like that. It's kind of like they catch the bitch and they dunk it. I know it's more to it than that, obviously, but when you look at the box sheet on its own without watching the game, you can see Daniel Gafford go 6 for 6, and they might be off of lobs or right under the basket, but that's 12 points that you can't just let go unannounced in the paint. And then when you got Lively doing that, or Cleaver hitting like 5 threes, it really makes you think, like, what do you do? Because then you look up and Luka still got a 30-point triple double, or Kyrie just dropped 40 still. So what do you really do with that? And then you got OKC with all the pieces they have. You don't really know who they're gonna defer to in the time that Shea isn't getting his usual production. Who are they gonna defer to? Do they defer to J Dub? Does Chet take a step up offensively? Shoot, does Lou Dort give us that offensive output that he gave a couple seasons ago when people were saying that he couldn't shoot, that he dropped like 40 or something? Does Josh Giddey go hard in the paint? Like, I don't know. Things that I'm gonna have to watch. And again, I'm a new viewer of the game. I've been following it. I watch here and there, but this is my first time actually getting into it. I watched them last year, but this is my first year where I'm like, yeah, I am in there. So that'll be nice to see, at least for me. I hope again that you guys are as excited for these playoffs as I am. Um, Hopefully your teams haven't gotten knocked out. If they didn't make it to the playoffs, then you probably don't care anyways. Like my Miami team, I'm not a fan of them during the regular season. When the playoffs come and I have to choose, I'm a Miami fan. They got knocked out to the Celtics. I can't believe I forgot all about that series. They got knocked out to the Celtics. Big step on the Celtics, Derek White. Like, we'll hold you guys on that or speak too much on it. It's already passed over and forgot it. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't forget it. I just didn't want to talk about Miami. Big step for the Celtics, though. I'll give props to him. Derek White. You guys got us this year, you know, Jimmy. And yeah, you can go ahead and say, oh yeah, we didn't have Tatum game 7. You guys were a better freaking team. It shouldn't have been any game 7. Don't want to hear it. Really don't. Keep that one to yourself. Moving on. Can Ant-Man and the Timberwolves #1 defense outmaneuver the reigning champs in the Nuggets? I think they can. Gobert versus Jokic will be nice to see. Cat versus Aaron Gordon will be nice to see. Jamal and Ed will be nice to see. Hella defense, hella offense, hella versatility on both sides. For the second round, this might be my series to watch. I was talking about Mavs and OKC. I will watch the series and see how it plays out. I just want to see how they counter each other. But as far as entertainment reasons go, Nuggets and Timberwolves will be my series to watch. That's going to be the one that I follow the most. Days where I'm tired of like, oh yeah, I'm really feeling like watching nothing. I look, oh, the Timberwolves and Nuggets play. Oh yeah, I gotta stop what I'm doing. Hands down, that's what I'm doing tonight. That's the type of excitement that I have for this one. And I got the Timberwolves taking that matchup. I don't care if it goes all the way to 7. If it's a game 7, I'm not betting on the Nuggets. I'm not. It's not a hate towards Jokic. It's not a hate towards their franchise. I love what they're doing over there. I've been telling people that they were supposed to have been winning. They were supposed to have been had championships under their belt. They just kept getting hurt, like every other team. In a different segment, I will talk about this. The Golden State Warriors, I will talk about their championship years and their dynasty run, whatever you want to call it. All I'm going to say right now is look at the injury reports for every team that they did or would have gone up against. That's all I'm going to say. Every team has injuries. It's a part of the game. That's that. Back to what I'm saying. The Minnesota Timberwolves will win this series. I think they will bring themselves over the top. I don't know how they're going to do it. Again, it's another instinct feeling. Those are my two definite ones on instinct. I'm going with it. Mavs are going to beat OKC. Timberwolves are going to beat the Nuggets. And the league is going to flip upside down. And the league is going to go crazy. I'm honestly expecting a Celtics-Knicks Eastern Conference Finals and Thunder Timberwolves Western Conference Finals. What happens after that, we'll get to that when that time comes. But that's what I'm looking at right now. Because who's expecting the Celtics to lose against whoever they go up against right now, whether it's the Cavs or the Magic. We're all expecting the Celtics to win. If they lose, however, that changes everything. And try to even think about that, I'm catching the brain for it. So we're gonna leave that one where it's at. But that's pretty much all I had to say on this first round. It's been a great one for sure. I believe it was better than last year's. Last year's playoffs was kind of anticlimactic for me. I mean, I followed the Heat, so that was a nice story to ride off on. But outside of Miami's miraculous run into the finals last year, it wasn't really anything that really caught my eye out of that. And I'm just now realizing that actually. I was like, I didn't really watch any games outside of Miami games last year. And I was hoping to make that change this year, and then it has. And not only because I wanted to watch more games, it's because I've been, I've had my eye open to even want to watch these matchups. Like the Knicks playing is crazy right now. Boston playing, even with, their overall struggle, they're still a good team to watch. OKC, coming in as their young team with the first seed, it's a fun team to watch. It's always nice to watch Jamal and Jokic go crazy. It's just the league is in good hands. Um, I've been telling people that not this year, but next year is the year where the official change will make. Like if you go down to history, um, and you say, when did that new era actually start? Like we've been seeing the changes come. We've been saying the league is coming to a change, but when it's actually going to happen, when that era flips over, it's going to be next year. That's going to be that solidifying season. With like, okay, the league is in a different place now. Not coming to a different place, but is in a different place. At least that's the way I see it. I'm looking forward to round two and seeing how this Cavs and Magic series plays out. I got my money on the Magic. Well, I don't have any money on the game at all, but I got my money on the Magic. I hope they move on to advance. Whether they make it through the second round or not, probably not. Doesn't matter. They had a great year, bigger than anyone expected them to do, including myself. They had a wonderful season, a wonderful story, and a wonderful core of players to continue to grow with. They can round out their roster a bit, sure, add some vets. I know there's the whole speculation on where Klay Thompson would end up after the off season, so that could be a nice destination for him. But I'm gonna see you guys in round two. In the meantime, I'll just be keeping up with the WNBA season as the preseason has come to a start. And yeah, it is crazy that those girls just came out of college and their season's already starting. For those of you guys who didn't know, that literally happens every year. So congratulations on actually opening up your eyes to seeing that, even though they get covered on the same channels as the men's basketball. It's really just, it's not a thing of not knowing if you don't want to know. But again, that's neither here nor there. To all those who do appreciate women's basketball, shout out to you. The girls are killing it now, even more so than the guys. So I'm excited to see how that's going to change. How that's going to change now that there's more recognizable players for us guys to watch. Before you may have known maybe one or two WNBA players, if any. Now I feel like after these last two college seasons for the girls, everyone should have at least one player on at least half the teams that they can watch and follow. Like, okay, yeah, I know that player. Oh snap, they doing good, and then you get interested into the team, get interested into this side of basketball, and it's only up from there. I'm really happy with the way things are looking in the basketball world. Football world is looking kind of crazy, and I still need to get Ryan on here for that, and I'm sure he will soon. But for now, it's peace out, y'all. I will see you guys soon. Thanks for listening to me. Don't forget to drop your feedback. Stay tuned for our new content coming out. It will be on YouTube most likely. That's the platform I've been trying to get situated with as far as our clips and stuff go. If you are looking for smaller content or highlights, if you don't have the time to look at our full episodes, feel free to look at our TikTok where we post smaller snippets. And they usually come with some visualization as well. Thanks again. This is your host.